Hello, my nomad souls. Welcome back to another episode of Wise Expats. Today, we are very happy to welcome Sarolta Ács. She's a communication and public professional with very deep experience in strategic storytelling, communications, media engagement, and she has spent nearly a decade shaping impactful PR campaigns and leading teams both in agency and also in the corporate environments in several industries. She's also a guest lecturer at Budapest Metropolitan University. And so, Sarolta, welcome to our podcast. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you, Juliana. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Great. So please, for those who don't know you yet, could you please briefly introduce yourself? Tell us what you do.
Of course, thank you. So my name is Sarolta, but I know many expats are listening to your podcast. So if it's a little bit struggling, Charlotte or Charlotta is good for me as well. I've been an expat many times in my life, so I know how it is. I'm a PR and communication professional. I also am a certified business coach. I will tell a little bit more about this intertwined link between these two fields a little bit later. I also, as you mentioned, I teach at Metropolitan University. I teach public relations, social media, and integrated marketing. And just for fun, I started my PhD in September. So that's something extra because we can never be bored enough, right? Or overwhelmed enough. So I started my PhD and I'm researching on how AI in communication is affecting consumer trust and loyalty. So that's another part of my focus recently.
Great. So was there a defining moment when you realized that you would like to work independently or outside of your career path?
Well, there was no actually any dramatic moment. It was not something like on a Monday I went to sleep and Tuesday I said like, okay, I'm going independent. I would say it was, or it has always been a part of my personality. I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. Both my mother and my fathers are entrepreneurs. They run their business. So that was kind of part of my identity since I was a child. And then when I started to first work after university, I started to do a little bit of freelancing, but I was lacking the foundations. I was not very aware of the industry. So I decided to go and study a little bit more in a work environment. And I spent a bit more than 10 years working at PR agencies. So now I understand all the ins and outs about the media landscape, the public relations, tools, tactics, game play, let's say. And I actually started to do freelancing and going independent in 2025, in the summer of 2025. I think that was the moment when I actually felt confident enough that now I feel I can actually support the freelancers and the founders and small business owners with professional consultancy and both consultancy and operative work. So this was basically how it turned out and how I ended up going independent.
Okay, great. So you work with freelancers, small business owners, and who feel overwhelmed of doing everything by themselves. Why do you think this feeling is so common with entrepreneurs?
Well, it's mainly because if you are an entrepreneur, you're a freelancer or a founder, you kind of find yourself sooner or later doing 5, 10 jobs. When you first start to do freelancing, you probably have like an idea what you want to do. You want to do a product or a service, and you have like at the very beginning, usually people have some sort of clarity on what they want to do, and when they actually start to put this into action, they realize that they need to understand marketing, web design, sales, HR, finance. Don't even get me started on finance. So you have to do so many things by yourself that it's not avoidable that you feel overwhelmed at some point. And being overwhelmed is going to result in losing your clarity and losing focus. And sometimes this can be very challenging. especially in some moments.
I see. So you work mainly in the intersection between business coaching and PR strategy. So how these two areas can complement each other in practice?
That's a really good question, by the way. I love this question. uh, I in, honestly, I never really met anyone who has been putting so much focus on consulting in a coach with a coaching mindset when you do public relations, even though I believe it's fundamental because business coaching is going to give you internal clarity. It's going to help you understand where you are going, what your vision is, what you want to achieve. And then when you build on this foundation with public relation, you take this internal clarity and internal knowledge to the external world. So without this clarity, you are just creating noise, you are just experimenting on who you are talking to, what messages you want to tell. And without the public relation part, coaching remains an internal work. So these two together is going to give a lot more clarity both for yourself and for your audience as well, because they will see what you want to communicate to them because you already know what you want to say.
Okay, great. So in your experience, what is the biggest mistake freelancers or business owners make in terms of brand visibility or when they try to communicate their services?
Mhm. I would say there are two parts of this answer, two challenges what I see frequently. One is that many people tend to build on motivation, but motivation comes and goes. So you cannot really rely on your motivation because I see many times that someone is feeling so energetic and for a couple of weeks you put a lot of work, a lot of effort on your communication, and then you lose this momentum, you lose this energy, this motivation, and then you go back and you go silence. But for the external world, this communicates something wrong. This feels a little bit confusing. So I would say picking something that you can do consistently and you can stick to it, it's better than do a lot of things. Um, so this is one part, building on motivation instead of consistency. And the other thing what I see is that they lack the focus. So it all comes back to clarity once again, and they try to communicate everything. And when you communicate everything, it just creates noise. You're not going to reach the target audiences that you want to reach if you don't have a focus on your communication either. So I would say these two are the most challenging parts, what I see.
Well, so in your experience, you also give a lot of workshops and you teach founders how to manage their own PR and communication. So why is important for founders to understand PR even if they want to outsource it?
Fundamentally, because PR is a leadership responsibility. So you cannot outsource this 100% because PR relies on the vision and the goals that a brand or a freelancer wants to achieve. So this is something that you need to understand at least the fundamentals and the basics. And this is why, for example, how I work with freelancers and founders is one part is the coaching, where we establish clarity, where we establish the vision, the goals. But then I like to give a workshop
Mhm.
so they understand the fundamentals of public relations before they start to outsource the tasks. Because if you don't understand what the media landscape in Hungary is, because it's very different from other countries, if you don't understand how strategic you can get with public relations, you don't understand the tactics and tools, because so many people tend to think that public relations is all about writing press releases and sending them
Mhm.
to journalists, but it's actually a lot more complex. So I rather my clients understand how it works before they start to outsource, because it's going to get a lot better outcome for both parts. They know what they can expect, what can be understood as a success, and what can be understood as something is low quality. Otherwise, you just outsource and you have no idea if it's good or bad, it's a good outcome or a not so good outcome.
Okay. So many Wise Expat followers are introverts like me. And how can introverts build without feeling unauthentic or exhausted?
It's actually a very interesting question because personally I don't see introverts as being a big challenge if someone is an introvert. Actually, introverts tend to think a lot more deeply and
Mhm.
they think twice before they speak, which is actually a
Yes.
really good attribute in public relations. If you want to go like communicate to the external world, I think it's actually something that is an advantage, not a disadvantage. I would recommend that you pick the platform and the format that you feel comfortable with, but always push a little bit out of your comfort zone because if you don't do that, you are not growing and you are being stuck in one place. So I think especially if you're an introvert and you're not comfortable of recording your TikToks, for example, or going to many networking events, because I imagine for an introvert,
Mm.
it's a hell.
Yes.
Yes. I would suggest to pick the formats and the platforms that is feels more authentic to you, more comfortable, and within that platform, push yourself just a little bit every time. This is what I would suggest.
Mhm. Great tips for our followers. If someone is interested to get to know more about your services, working with you, so what would be the first step?
First step, I would suggest that they reach out to me on LinkedIn. That is the
Mhm,
easiest way. I answer all
mhm,
my DMs, so my
mhm,
DMs are completely open.
mm,
And I always start because both coaching and PR are services based on trust and chemistry. So if we don't have the chemistry, we don't have the foundations to build trust on, then it's not going to be a good work. So what I offer every time when I start to work with someone is a free 30 minutes, like I call it chemistry call or chemistry meeting, where we meet, we talk a little bit on what the client wants, what vision they have, what goals they think they want to achieve. And then we just actually see if we do have chemistry, we do have this foundation to work together. And then we take it from there. We take it from either the coaching way, the workshop, and then the outsourcing the actual task for me is the last part because, as I said before, I don't like to take on clients only to do the operative work before they don't understand the whole concept and they don't have the clear vision and goals.
mhm. I will also post your LinkedIn profile on the comments so people can reach you easily.
Thank you.
Great. Uh, what's one piece of advice you would like to give to freelancers who feels overwhelmed or stuck right now?
But if you feel overwhelmed, my piece of advice is take the afternoon off, go for a walk, breathe, and focus on the next step that you want to take. Because when you feel overwhelmed, if you start to think about the so many things that you want to do and the so many challenges that you are facing right now, it's just going to stress you out, and stress freezes people. So instead of like focusing on everything, focus on one exact step that you can do in the next moment. So just take it step by step. Don't overwhelm yourself even more.
Great. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you
Thank you,
for
Juliana.
being part of this podcast. I'm sure that it will help many entrepreneurs and freelancers who are starting to build their brand. Um, thank you so much, my Nomad Sauce, for following. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And please leave on the comments which other topic would you like to listen on the next podcast. And see you next time. Bye bye.
Thank you.
So
Bye bye.